What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Chuds BBQ. My name is Bradley Robinson, and today I'm gonna show you how I made these beautiful, delicious, smoky, tender, rendered, barky, direct heat beef cheeks. Coming up. Thank you, Omaze, for sponsoring this video. Down at Leroy and Lewis, the number 5 barbecue joint in Texas, according to the Texas Monthly Top 50 list, the signature item is the smoked beef cheeks. Because in a world full of brisket, Evan Leroy wanted to be different. And they have blown up in popularity, not just at the food truck, but I'm seeing them on barbecue menus across the country, and for good reason. The beef cheek is very similar to a fatty brisket in that it is nicely marbled and full of collagen, which renders down and gives you that really nice, soft, tender bite, not to mention that wonderful brisket-like Texas-style barbecue crust. So that being said, today I'm gonna make some beef cheeks, but I'm gonna do a slight variation where I cook them on the direct heat cooker. That's right, folks, today we're making direct heat beef cheeks, and it is going to be delicious. These are some beef cheeks. So what I've got here is 3 packages of beef cheek meat. That's how it's typically sold. And if you've never seen beef cheeks before, it is a pretty gnarly looking cut. Not the most visually appealing because they don't come out of the bag as pre-trimmed beautiful beef cheeks. It's the main muscle and then all these little scraggly bits attached. So we need to trim these up. So first thing you're gonna wanna do is take all these little tiny pieces that are just hanging on by a thread and snip those away. And as you can see, that's not a good beef cheek right there. That's all just scrap and sinew. You could try and trim it up, but you're not gonna be left with much. So that's going into the scrap pile. Same for this one. This is the actual cheek muscle. You can tell it's a big cohesive muscle. Then you got all this fat and scrap hanging off. So we'll go ahead and trim that all up. Ooh. Any little pieces like this, same thing, to the scrap pile. Once you get your hands on it, I think you'll be able to tell what's a good beef cheek and what is going into the scrap pile. So what we're left with here is the main beef cheeks themselves. And a lot of time when you get the beef cheeks, they'll already be butterflied a little bit. You can see this little flap right here. When they were butchering it, they kind of slit right where the meat ends and all the sinew begins. So if you find this seam, you just want to follow that with your knife. Take all that off. It may look like a beef cheek, but if you cut it in half, it is a very small amount of meat and a whole bunch of fat and sinew and gross stuff. Same on this one. Locate the piece of meat, look for the seam, and then follow that and take all this stuff right off the top. Big old chunk of fat. That is a big beef cheek. One more time. Here's the beef cheek. You can tell this is the muscle. This is the fat cap on top, but we want to take all that off and it's already partially butterflied. So we're just gonna follow that and just keep going until we're left with nothing but the cheeks. So here we are with the 5 beef cheeks that we got from those 3 packages. And now all we're gonna do is go around and clean them up, make them look nice. Just take off all these thin edges, anything that's hanging off, trim off any big chunks of fat, and just give them some nice shape. And there we have it. That is a beautiful looking beef cheek in my opinion. Nice big thick piece of meat, wonderful marbling on there. And this thing is tough as nails. You can see all the collagen running through there, but that's what's gonna break down into the gelatin and give us that super tender bite. On the back side here, there's often a bunch of silver skin. I leave that on, it's kind of a pain to take off, and the way we're gonna cook this, it'll all render down. Let's trim up one more. So this one is already pretty close. We're just gonna clean up these edges a little bit, take off any weird flaps on the back here, and there we go. Perfect looking beef cheek. And there we have it. Some beautiful looking, nicely trimmed up beef cheeks. And as you can see, this is our beef cheek pile and this is our beef scraps pile. So not ideal, but this can all get cooked down as well in a very similar way and make some nice barbacoa out of it. So it's not gonna go to waste. But if you wanna see me do that, let me know in the comments below and I'll do that in another video. Because today we're focused on the beef cheeks. Let's get them seasoned up. For our rub today, I'm going on with my classic 2-part 16 mesh black pepper to 1-part diamond crystal kosher salt. So simply enough, into the pan these go, and then on we go with our rub. Just want to get a whole bunch of rub all over these guys. Looking good to me. All that black pepper on there is really going to help us get a really nice bark right off the bat. And you can go on with whatever rub you like, but I think this is all you need. So let's throw these on the Mini ChudBox. Boot snake. We got this mini ChudBox rocking around 275, 300 degrees. So on we go with these beautiful beef cheeks. And by the way, these are the cheeks of the cow's head, not the butt cheeks. Looking good. We'll check back in a little bit. This video is brought to you by Omaze. Omaze is a company that aims to transform traditional charity giving by giving people the chance to dream big and win one-in-a-lifetime prizes while helping chosen charities and nonprofits all around the world. This sustainable approach to fundraising means that nonprofits can spend less time and money focusing on raising funds and instead focus on serving the needs of their communities. This time around, the grand prize is a DeBerti Ford Bronco. This all-black Ford Bronco Wildtrak with seating for 5, powertrain 2.7-liter V6 EcoBoost engine, 310 horsepower, and up to $80,000 worth of DeBerti customizations, including new fenders, front and rear bumpers, sidebars, skid plate, new suspension, control arms, and many more. This beast has an approximated value of $140,000. And all donations support the Warrior Built Foundation in their work, offering vocational and recreational therapy to veterans through experiences working with mechanical and vehicle modification. They seek to honor combat veterans and wounded service members who served our country to create memories and help form new support systems. So for your chance to win the DeBerti Ford Bronco, head to omaze.com/chudsbbq. Again, that's omaze.com/chudsbbq for a chance to win the DeBerti Ford Bronco and support the Warrior Built Foundation. Thank you, Omaze. 2 hours into this cook, and these beef cheeks are looking real nice. Underside is got some wonderful color on there. The smell is absolutely fantastic. So we're gonna go ahead and flip all these over, get some color on the other side, but this is exactly what we're looking for. That bark is set. It's almost looking like a little brisket already. So we're gonna cook on this other side for about another hour, probably 2 hours, and then we will check back in. Due to an unfortunate SD card related incident, I lost all the footage of me pulling off these cheeks and sealing them up last night. But luckily it's really easy to explain. So, using my new meat chamber vac here, I took the beef cheeks off the mini ChudBox after 4 hours of total cooking, 2 hours on that other side, and they looked pretty similar. Nice and crusty, nice and barky. They were reading around 190, 200 internal, but they were still tough as nails. So in order to continue to soften them up, what Leroy and Lewis does is confit them in a vat of beef fat. But to make it a little more approachable for the home cook, I decided to sous vide them. So I took the cheeks and I put them into a vac sealed bag with a couple dollops of some Wagyu beef tallow. Literally like 3 or 4 spoonfuls, not too much. Then I sealed them up just like this. And I gotta say, the chamber vac is a game changer. Highly recommend it. And then into a sous vide bath, these went overnight. I also got to test out the new sous vide machine made by Meat, and it worked really well. So simply enough, I took my bag and I popped it into this water bath and I set this to 175 degrees overnight. And the best part about this method is you can tell when they're done just by pulling the bag out, ooh, that's hot, and giving them a squeeze. Once they feel nice and tender, you know they're ready. So big shout out to the folks from Meat for making this awesome sous vide gear, but now let's see how the results turned out. So I've been feeling these periodically as they cook, and right around hour 8 is when they felt really nice and done. But I didn't feel like slicing into them at 2:30 in the morning, so I let them go overnight, and they feel really nice right now. A couple hours ago, I dropped the temp of the sous vide bath down to about 140, just to make them sliceable temp, and now we're ready to dive in. And as you can see, all that fat is surrounding the beef cheeks, which means I think we got a pretty accurate sous vide confit. A lot of French words. And I bet you if you put that sous vide all the way up to 203, which is where it maxes out, you could probably leave these in there for about 4 hours and get the same results. Ooh. Oh yes, please. Oh goodness, try not to spill the fat everywhere. These feel amazing. So tender, so supple. People talk about tallowing your brisket. Tallow your cheeks, y'all. Ooh, looking beautiful. Nice and barky, nice and juicy. Looks like a pile of tiny little briskets. And the best part is, we don't have to wait any longer. We can slice right on in. That one looks good to me. Just, ooh, so tender. Little beef cheek burn end. Look at that. Looking good, looking juicy. Oh, smells fantastic. And there we have it, folks, a beautiful looking slice of beef cheek, nice and fatty. It's incredibly tender. Oh, look at all that collagen in there, nice and sticky. I mean, what more do you need in life? I gotta give this a bite. Oh my God. That is so good. So many flavors going on. I forgot I did these direct heat. So used to eating these at Leroy and Lewis. Yeah, the caramelization of that crust on the outside is so nice. It's got that direct heat flavor, you know, from the fat dripping onto the coals. Still got a wonderful bark on there. Incredibly tender. I mean, you saw me just pulling that slice apart, but it still holds its shape. It's still structurally sound. That is a bite of happiness right there. Again, it's like the most tender brisket you've ever had, but it's got more of that old school brisket vibe to it. Unbelievable. Nothing compares. It just melts in your mouth. I'm telling you folks, if you haven't had beef cheeks before, you are missing out. The whole thing is pretty much one big burn end. Nice and fatty, nice and sticky. All the collagen is perfectly rendered down to this gelatinous bite. Oh, so good. Nice and salty. That pepper is there. I mean, it's smoky, tender beef that's been soaking in Wagyu beef fat overnight. What's not to like? I am missing the smoke ring a little bit. You can kind of see one in there a little bit, but usually the ones at Leroy & Lewis have a nice big thick one. So it may not look as appealing, but oh my God, the flavor, spectacular. Bleh. That is hard to beat. Speaking of beats, might as well keep it original with some Leroy & Lewis Beat Barbecue Sauce. On sale now at LeroyandLewisBarbecue.com. I mean, this sauce was literally designed to be paired with beef cheeks. We'll go for this little burn end, shall we? Boop. There it is. That really is one of the best bites in barbecue right there. Just need a little kimchi on top. I tell you what, folks, if you're a fan of bark, tender meat, smoky meat, burn ends, or brisket in general, you definitely gotta give this one a try at least once. It's the best of everything good about barbecue. So smoky, so tender. You can do these on your offset, you can do these on a direct pit, you can probably do them on a grill, but they really are something special. And also because they don't have a fat cap on them, all the tenderness is coming from the collagen and the intramuscular fat. So if you're one of those people that doesn't really like big chunks of fat on top of your meat, this is a great place to go about it too. Now I'm gonna eat the rest of this off camera. In shame. So good. I think it's time for the official taste test. Could you say thank you one time? All right, y'all, and that is it. That is how to make some absolutely incredible beef cheeks on the direct heat cooker, rested in a confit sous vide bath. I know that's a lot of fancy sounding words, but in reality, this was a super easy cook. 1 chimney of charcoal, 4 hours on the heat, pop them in a Ziploc bag, and the rest is hands off. But the result is absolutely spectacular and definitely worth giving a try. But that being said, if you enjoyed this video, let me know by hitting that subscribe button and dropping a like on this video. Leave me a comment down below letting me know what you want to see me cook next. If you do give this recipe a try for yourself, be sure to hit me up on Instagram at Chuds BBQ. I'd love to see what y'all are cooking. Big shout out to all the Patreon members. Thank you for supporting Team Chud and allowing me to keep making videos. Thank you to Omaze for sponsoring this video. And until the next time I see you, please go cook something outside. Peace.